This is Roger signing in for the BFN, the Business Financial Network. And welcome to our special podcast series, The Stock Sauce, where we get exclusive insight from the president of one of the many companies our investment audience has been following as we continue to assist our viewers in their discovery of unexplored brand new asset classes and emerging issuers in the world's markets. And it's always a pleasure to introduce the president of Atlas Salt, Mr. Roland Howe. How are you doing today, Roland?
Hey, Roger. It's always a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Roland, it looks like today the drill results on hole CC9 are truly spectacular with over 300 meters of massive high-grade salt. Tell us about the significance of that diamond drill hole and what it means for Atlas.
I mean, drilling into the salt is really not the big deal here. The big step out to the east, about 250 meters east of where we were before with a line of CC4 in a previously untested part of Great Atlantic. So, you know, it's massive salt starting at just 240 meters below surface. That's unusually shallow relative to all the other existing salt mines in North America. And it's high grade, it's beautiful salt, and some of the best cores I think I've ever seen in my career. The net massive salt of 305 meters grading at 95.6%. In some sections grading even better from 97 to as high as 99.6%. CCC9 will allow for an upgrade of the Great Atlantic resource estimate that we published at the end of January.
Awesome. That's really great to hear. You know, and it's important for investors to truly understand how good this drill hole is, because, you know, a lot of these technical reports, they're really hard to interpret. And in the context of the salt sector, I think it would be fair for us to compare with Goderich. As you know, you were one of the mining managers there for many, many years, and it is one of the biggest and best underground salt mines in the world. The best drill hole from the surface of Goderich salt belt, I think was mined, it's been mined for over 60 years, is about 87 feet of massive high-grade salt in terms of thickness, okay, according to those technical reports and SEC filings. Atlas, this whole CC9 has over 305 meters in thickness of high-grade massive salt. That's 11.5 times the thickness of the best intercept of the surface of Goderich. So that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
You know, CCC9 is astonishing given that comparison that you just gave us. And when you think about it, it's easy to understand now why Great Atlantic has got to be the premier undeveloped salt deposit anywhere in North America, rock salt sector. And, you know, that sector has seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions activity in the last 2 to 3 years. But Great Atlantic is indeed great. It's really unique feature probably is the fact that it's so shallow. And of course, the thickness of the salt bed stands out as well, as you described. And Goderich, you know, it's known as the biggest and best underground salt mine in the entire world. But the drill holes at Goderich are onshore and doesn't even remotely compare to the thickness of salt that we see in CC9 or others at Great Atlantic for that matter. So we're up against the best in the world, but we're looking exceptionally good, Roger.
Agreed. And, you know, outside of this drill hole at CC9, what else is going on with Great Atlantic?
Well, drilling has shown that the salt bed at Great Atlantic is roughly 200 to 400 meters thick, and the deposit starting really shallow, as shallow as 190 meters. It trends northeast to Turf Point, so, you know, we see about 2.5 kilometers towards Turf Point. We've yet to find the limits of this deposit.
Okay.
It looks like lots of potential for going further out to the east, and this is still a massive homogeneous high-grade deposit that could extend for many kilometers. And not that we need all of that salt. The current resource is 1 billion tons inferred at 96.5% purity, and 187 million tons indicated at a purity of 96.4% salt. So, you know, an upgrade will come with the feasibility study.
Okay. And, you know, we've been hearing a lot of rumors, right? We've been hearing about buyouts. We're kind of wondering why it hasn't happened, already with all this M&A activity that's been happening in this space. You being a part of this team, are you concerned that in the shadows they could be an opportunistic buyer lurking out there somewhere, eager to swipe up Great Atlantic for less than it's worth?
Well, there's two things here, Roger. I mean, first off, we announced some time ago that we're working with a financial advisor to make sure that whatever offers or opportunities are out there works best for the shareholders to create shareholder value. And that's also why we're recruiting a dynamic new CEO with plenty of successful mine development and deal making experience. With a PEA in hand and moving forward toward feasibility, it's a perfect time to bring in some high-powered individual to bring it over the line for investors. And hats off to Patrick Laracy for recognizing the skill set that we need to finish this. There's a lot of interest in Great Atlantic, and we've been fielding inquiries for many, many months. And keep in mind as well, the technical report for the preliminary economic assessment was just filed on CDAR. So more data keeps coming in, just like whole CC9. So the number crunching is now really starting in earnest.
Yeah. I see that. And speaking about this CEO situation, what kind of recruiting, what's going on with the recruiting process, and what's the progress being made there?
So the search is going well, exceptionally well. We've got headhunters looking for this individual. This appointment will be a transformative event for Atlas. And that's what we're aiming for. And it'll bring a lot of fresh energy into our market. And use a golf analogy, this is a perfect layup for a potential candidate. We've got a fabulous project, over 17 million in cash in the treasury, and some very talented people here to work with the best CEO we can possibly find. Okay, definitely. That sounds really promising. Let's look at this with all due respect. A lot of our traders here have been asking a lot of very, direct questions. Atlas has lost about half of its value since the PEA was released, right? At the end of January. And, do you think it's because investors didn't see the ramp up in production that they were expecting to see? I don't pretend to understand the markets. I know they're volatile, and, that's something that we accept. But keep in mind, the PEA is just a starting point. Okay. And it's very conservative and a realistic document, not a promotional PEA like some might put out. This is a real PEA, independently produced by a very well thought of company, SLR, right? There's lots of upside going into the feasibility study, and I'm sure the new CEO will have many of his own thoughts and ideas around this. As conservative as the PEA is, it shows a value of over 900 million. And that confirms Great Atlantic is an exceptional low-cost producer. I can't imagine anyone in the sector in North America who's able to match Great Atlantic's cost structure. And now it's a matter for looking how Great Atlantic can be ramped up further on the production side, and as quickly as possible in the early going. Okay. Well said. I don't want to keep you any longer. I have one more question for you. We're traders, we really like when we see deals that have potential, that future potential. Is this dead money right now with no news until there's a new CEO? No, of course not, Roger. Today's news should answer that very question. And there's a lot going on, so stay tuned. You know what? Thanks, Roland, for taking the time to share with us and our investment audience your company's current status, and we look forward to seeing you in the future with more updates. Thanks. No worries. Take care.